Hello, hello, Science of People friends. I wanted to do a quick video on the friendship code. And the reason why I wanted to do this little extra video in addition to our How to Make Friends article is because I think it's really important to develop what I call friendship insurance. And this is a very small issue that I mentioned in the article where you meet someone, you kind of fall in love at first sight, friendship love at first sight. You think, oh my gosh, this person's going to be my new best friend. And then a couple weeks or months down the line, you realize, whew, this person is not what I thought. And by then it's a little too far too late and it's hard to get them out of your life. So what I like to think about is, can you build a little bit of friendship insurance into your relationship? And the reason that you want to do this is because first, it helps you protect yourself against potentially difficult or toxic people. Remember that some toxic people are in hiding. You don't quite know right away that they're not the right person for you. It also might be someone who enables you in a bad way. Maybe they're someone who works against you for your goals, or they are kind of leading you down a path in life that you don't like. So by developing this kind of friendship insurance, you're able to protect yourself against those people by not falling in love too fast. I also want to talk about the idea of relating right, so that not all friends are created equal. We can have professional friends, we can have social friends, we can even have friends that maybe lead to something romantic down the line. And the whole goal here is to make sure that when you are developing these friendships, they're serving the both of you. That in a really good friendship, your goals are being met and their goals are being met. And the last one is that the best kind of relationships actually start small. Just like in a romantic relationship, you never want to dive in too quickly, right? You never want to get married on the second date. It's the same thing in friendships, is you want to make sure that you're taking those baby steps so that you're building up to something great, as opposed to diving into something shallow a little too soon. Oh, I like that metaphor. It's like diving into a pool. You want to make sure that you're diving into the deep end and not the shallow end. I'm a big fan of metaphors. All right. The way that we do this is with something called micro commitments. So micro commitments are these very small commitments that you make to someone before making the big commitment. They're the baby steps in a friendship before making the big commitment. There are two different resources on this if you want to dig further into it, but I'm going to go into it here just to give you a starting point. The first one is a great book, and this is called One Small Step Can Change Your Life. That's basically on the science of micro commitments. So if you're interested in taking these small steps and a little bit further, you can read that one. Another one on specifically relationships is my book called Captivate, which is specifically on the different phases of a relationship. I broke my book into 3 different parts: the first 5 minutes, the first 5 hours, and the first 5 days. And I find that if you can master each of those levels, you micro commit to something really great. Where I want you to start right now, though, is with the idea of creating a couple of different micro commitments when you're trying to build new friends. So when you think about going out and meeting these new friends, going to different locations, asking for blind dates with friends, is there a way that you can break down the relationship into these small steps or micro commitments? There's a lot of different ways that we micro commit to a friend, and they might not be as obvious as you think. So of course there's the obvious ones like, going to a coffee date before dinner, or going on a dinner date before a road trip. But there are also smaller ones like a like on Instagram. So following someone on Instagram or friending them on Facebook is actually the very first micro commitment we make to someone. When you friend someone on Facebook or you follow them on Instagram and give them a like, that's a very small Me Too moment. It's a very small way that you say, hey, I like you, I want to be in your life. So that's actually the very first small commitment. Trading phone numbers and tied into text. It's also every time you think of that person and reach out to them. So if you think about a new friend, you were just talking about your favorite show is Everybody Loves Raymond, and you say, hey, I found a really funny GIF of that show, and you text it to them. That's actually a micro commitment, because it's basically saying, I remembered something we talked about, and I'm going to send you this really funny thing or a quote or a picture of something we talked about. I was thinking of you today and I hope you enjoy it. That little text message is also a micro commitment. The next step, of course, is anything in person, a coffee date before a dinner date or a lunch date before a dinner date. It could also be drinks instead of dinner. Those are smaller than a 3-hour long dinner together. It also might just be sending a video that they like. Maybe the next level after dinner out or coffee out is inviting them over to your home and cooking dinner together. It's very much like dating in the sense that you don't want to go, hey, let's go on a road trip together the first time after you meet someone, but that can be a commitment that you work up towards later. Some other ideas for micro commitments are saying happy birthday or remembering their birthday. anytime you remember a date that's important to them, it could be their birthday, it could also be knowing that they have a work interview or that they have their own date coming up or a blind date coming up. If you text them beforehand, hey, good luck on your date, or hey, how did that date go last night? That's a micro commitment. You don't need to get together for that. All you're doing is sending a little bit of a check-in, a little bit of a push. So remembering their birthday, remembering important commitments. If you're traveling, it might be sending them a postcard or bringing back a little travel trinket. One thing that I like to do to solidify friendships, if I'm traveling, and I can pick up something small, like for example, when I went to Asia, I got a couple of my friends little chopsticks that they could have themselves in a little silk bag. They were about $1 each, but they were pretty cheap to bring back in my bag. I gave them out to a couple of my friends, and people were so touched to get this little small travel trinket. So is there a travel trinket you could bring back for someone? Or if you know that someone loves double mint gum, could you pick up double mint gum for them before meeting them for dinner? All those little things are small ways of saying, hey, I would love to make this more of a friendship. I'd love to commit to our friendship. Another thing you could work up towards is a double date, possibly you and your partner or you and your spouse going on a double date or even a friend group date. And then you can also be more creative and think about things with friends. Like I went through a whole year where I sent really random cards for random holidays. I sent Valentine's Day cards to my business colleagues. I sent Happy Take a Chance Day cards on Happy Take a Chance Day, a random holiday in the summer. And that was also a great way to make these micro commitments to friends and business partners. So these are just some ideas of ways that you can break down your friendship to make sure that you're ensuring your friendship, that you really truly like this person, but also showing them that you care in very small ways. So I hope this was a helpful video for you. Remember, you can always level up your relationships with People School. If you're interested in that, you can check it out at scienceofpeople.com/peopleschool. We have our next class opening up soon, and that's where we teach you how to truly take your relationships to the next level. But hopefully this was a great starting point for you, and I'll see you in our next video.